Thank you for joining in for our new show, Paranormal Witnesses. And I am here with Kathleen Solway Kessel, who have witnessed very true stories of paranormal activity. Um, I've been through a lot of paranormal activity in my life. So I am very glad to actually sit with somebody who experienced the same thing. So I will tell my story later, but we have somebody who would tell her story, and I'm just happy to introduce Miss Kathleen. Thank you, Kathleen, for joining us today. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad. It was a little bit of a busy day today, with my birds and stuff. They were kind of misbehaving a little bit. I,
Yeah.
I had to kind of scold them this afternoon, you know. Yeah, but they're okay.
Yeah.
I love those birds. I have ravens and crows and blue jays and all kinds of sparrows that come to see me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Well, tell us how, from the beginning,
mhm.
how did you start experiencing this paranormal activity, and just give us in as much detail as you can about what you went through, what you experienced,
You mean from when I was two?
or when you was through anything, like anything you want to tell us, and just tell us what you have witnessed.
Yeah, it started when I was 2 years old, and I started seeing angels at that age. And I would be woken up in the middle of the night, and I still get woken up in the middle of the night almost every other night. But they're not angels; they're aliens actually. But that's to tell you later about. Um, no, anyways, they used to come to me and they would talk telepathically. I know I didn't mention that before, but they seemed to be more like my friends. And so I wasn't like scared of them at all. So I started experiencing, communicating telepathically, in the beginning since I was two. And, you know, and well, my mother and my father were always fighting and stuff, and I was kind of late, like learning how to talk, because it wasn't that I couldn't talk; it was because I was holding it back because of a lot of arguing and stuff in my family, between my mother and father, and so. But yeah, um, it's, but I don't know what to say. Um,
I can when you first saw the angels, were you
yeah,
terrified? What was your when you first encountered them? Were you like, what is this? Like, what am I seeing? I mean, at age two,
yeah.
um, what did you like? What was your emotions? How did you feel when you first saw that? And
I thought that they were my friends. I never got scared. But there have been times where I've seen an angel and in the past, and it has scared me. Yeah,
mm.
yeah.
So these, what did they look like?
They didn't have wings. That's all I can tell you. They did not have wings.
Did they look like
I
humans?
don't know where anybody gets these ideas that angels have to have wings, you know. But they were just, I would talk to them telepathically. They would talk to me telepathically. And I was only 2, and I just thought it was just completely normal. You know, I had no idea, and I even knew that there was a God before anybody even told me. You know, at that age. So it was, yeah.
Did they look like humans or were they like beasts?
No, it looked more like humans to me. Yeah,
right.
definitely.
Uh, do you still see them? Do you still encounter them?
Yes, I still do. Yeah. And especially I lived in Los Angeles for 2.5 years. And believe me, that is a real city of angels. I mean, I would see them all the time. And they'd walk around the corner and they'd be gone. They'd be disappeared. You know, I mean, all the time, all the time. And actually, I was where I was baptized in the Pacific Ocean. I went to the church, you know, that baptized me. And this lady was taking care of her grandchildren, and the pastor was out, and they had a gate around the back of the house. And so we were talking and this and that, and they said, she says, oh, I gotta, you know, go check on my granddaughter, you know, to see how she's doing. So I said, okay. And then she was gone for a while, and I couldn't understand, you know, where she had gone. And she says to me, was there somebody that came with you? And I said, what? You know, no, you know, and she said that, well, somebody was in the backyard and he was asking for the pastor and he didn't know. And I said, no, you know, he's not here at the moment. And I said, did he look kind of like he was Spanish? And he says, yeah. And I said, oh, that was just my angel that was walking with me before into the church, you know. And she was like, oh my God, you know, like she got all scared and everything, you know, when I told her that.
Did she tell you what happened? Did they have a conversation? Did she give you any
Yeah, she
information
had
on what
a
happened with them?
conversation with them. And she said the weirdest thing is she didn't even know how this guy came in, because there was like no way that he could have possibly come in that way unless he came in through the house, you know? So it was just, she was all freaked out about it. She was like, oh my gosh, you know? Yeah.
Have you witnessed the angels do any actions, any powers, save anybody, or any battles with demons or anything?
Well, you know, I'm baptized in the Holy Spirit, and I did have an incident where I was in church, one of those storefront churches, which they have a lot of, and especially in downtown LA. And I went to this one service, and there was somebody that was disturbing the service. And this was like an evening service. And anyways, they kept like, you know, they kept interrupting. And he looked like he was drunk or something. And so, you know, I'm listening, you know, to what's going on. And then I felt this like thing down in my stomach, you know, like it was like bubbling up. It was something that was bubbling up from my stomach. And it came up and through like my throat and then out my mouth. And I started speaking in tongues, like really loud, really loud. And the guy looked at the pastor, he looked at me, looked at the pastor, and he says, what did that girl say to me? You know, it was over. It was over. You know, it was like, like he, whatever demon was in him just like came out. And he was like, what did she say to me? You know, it was nuts. It was, but yeah. So, yeah, that was really amazing. That was really amazing, you know.
Uh, um, so reading, because I'm Christian too. So how this experience you have, do they go with the views in the Bible? Like what you see, that you experience, do you actually see uh in the Bible the same way?
Well, when I was baptized in the Holy Spirit, and I was baptized in Hartford, and there was a girl there, and she was talking about like speaking in tongues, and she says, if you really want it, you have to ask for it, and you have to keep saying, Lord, I need this. I want this right now. You got to give it to me. And so for like the next 2 days, I was saying constantly, Lord, you got to just give this to me, give me this gift. And so I went to this Wednesday service, and he like there was an evangelist that had visited, and he was talking about being an Eagle Christian. That's what the sermon was about, being an Eagle Christian. And so then I was like, we were standing up, we were singing, and I felt like somebody had pushed me from behind. And I was like in the second row or something. And I almost fell over the chair in front of me. And I stopped and I got myself up and I go, like, did somebody push me? And I turned around and nobody had pushed me. And so then he started saying, well, I'll never forget it, And he looked straight at me and he said, greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. Yeah, it's pretty deep. I always will never forget that. And so he said, if you feel that God is calling you forward, to come forward and become an Eagle Christian for him, then, come forward, right? And I was like, oh my God, it's exactly like I was being pushed. Like, it was like he was like, God was saying, just come forward, So then I kneeled down, and it was like, there was like water. I felt water from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet, and then back up again, back down again, back up again, down again. And, nobody laid hands on me or anything. I was like really surprised. I think I was the only one that they didn't lay hands on, and then I started like, it just like came out, it was like gushing waters, and it's just, I'll never forget it. Never. So, I mean, it really changed my life. So, yeah.
So when you blank, you went out. I can't see your video.
So it's just a sec. Okay. Oops. Connect devices in Alexa app. Okay. Amazon Alexa. Hold on a second. That was my mistake. I pressed it by mistake.
Oh, no problem. It's fine.
Are you still on there?
This says play. Maybe play. Oh. Okay. Hold on. Oh no. Let's see. Music, communicate. Oh, jeez. What did I do? What the heck did I do? Call? Okay.
It's fine. I can edit it. So it's fine. Take your time.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
How do I get back to it? Darn. Oh, wait a minute now. Hold on. Microphone used by Zoom. Okay. Okay. All right. And then it says Zoom. Okay. This should bring me right back. Meeting in progress. Yeah. Okay. No, not yet. Sorry about that.
You still there?
You still here, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. Trying to figure this out here.
Let me see. It's on. I don't know. It's on your. Are you using your phone or your computer?
It's my Fire, Amazon Fire.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have that.
Tablet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kathleen's Fire online. Okay. No, it doesn't. Huh. Okay, call for help, find it. Okay. Huh. Let's see. Oh. I don't know. Oh, damn. No, this is this has something. I'm sorry about this.
It's fine.
I'm so
fine.
sorry. Let's see. Connected. No, that's not it. Oh, there you go.
Oh, you're back on. Great.
Yeah,
Great.
I figured it out. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right. Well, let's continue. My next question is, when did you? How long it took for you to actually tell somebody about what you were experiencing?
Oh, wow.
By what age? By 2 months, 3 years, or yeah?
You mean about when I was abducted?
About the angels. About the angels.
Oh no, I
did
don't
anybody
think
know?
I told anybody for a long time about that. You know, I don't think I told anybody for a long time.
And when you did tell somebody, what was their reaction?
I'm not really sure. I mean, because there was one time I was in Nantucket, and we used to go to Nantucket every summer, and I heard I saw somebody following me, but he was talking telepathically to me, and and I thought he was one of those space brothers, a space brother, and he said telepathically to me, just be careful, with the, that you don't step in there was water in front of me. And then I thought, oh boy, now he's talking to me, and now I'm thinking, this guy gonna rape me or something, because it was it was dark out, and it was in an alley, and So he says, and he spoke out loud. He said, well, that's not a nice thing to think, you know? And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, he talked to me, and I'm like, oh gosh. So I walked away, and there was like a little bit of water I could have stepped in. And he was like, you know, watch out for the water, you know? So then I walked away. I went into one of these stores, you know, that like an open store. And I saw him standing like way behind like somebody else. And then he just like disappeared, you know? Yeah. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't just experience paranormal with angels. What are some of the other experiences?
Well, lately it's been more with the aliens. You know, especially waking me up. Before I think about several months before I was I came here to where I live now. I was living at my brother's house, and I was living in the barn because that's all he had for me, and so-called barn. And it was weird because I kept like seeing like I'd wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would see the trees like swaying back and forth, and I looked out, and it looked like snow was on the ground, but it was like in like August, and this was before I came here to Kent. And so then, and also when my mother and I lived in Reading, I used to see the boards, you know, from over the doors, you know, and it would like open up, you know, the boards, and it would go like up like through the middle of the ceiling, and I'd be looking, and these things would be like coming like, and somebody explained it to me that it's like a portal or something opening up. And I really had no understanding about that. And so one night, my mother, I was like talking to my mother in the middle of the night, and I said, do you see that? She says, oh yes, I see that, you know, because my mother is actually psychic too. But, you know, unfortunately, she's in a nursing home right now with dementia. She's from Ireland. And
I'm
she's
sorry.
like, yeah. And she's also 100% Viking. And and I have the Viking blood in me as well. I'm like 75% Viking. And you know, we suffer, my mother and I both suffer from the Viking's disease. And it's, you know, you know, her hands are like claw hands, you know, just very difficult, you know. And I have to like put stuff like hemp on me every night and stuff because it hurts. It really hurts, you know. But
So what are the symptoms of Viking disease?
well, you have like these nodules and stuff. I don't know if I can show you. See how my you see those like those there's like cords in your
I see them.
hand. What?
I see them. Yeah.
I have it in both hands, and then I have arthritis in my knuckles too. You know, knuckle pads. So, which are like I can't wear rings anymore. And I ended up divorcing my husband of almost 20 years. back in 2018. And that was just before I came to Kent. But it was like a year later that I was abducted. But I was still experiencing, before that, I was still experiencing the same things with the boards like coming open like that, you know. But I was surprised. She says, "Oh yes, I see it. I see it." You know, it was like it was nothing to her, you know. And so then, oh yeah. So, anyways, yeah, her mother had it, and my mother and my grandmother both came from Viking cities that were settled by the Vikings. So it's a lot of, you know, the bloodline is very strong. So my father, on the other hand, he was Russian. So Russian Canadian, who was born in Toronto. But yeah, and he was actually a very smart man. He was a genius, my father. And he had 7 kids. And out of the 7 kids, I was the only one that became a genius. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I've had tested my IQ many times before. The highest has been 169. So, and that was when I was exhausted and I did it. So it could even be higher than that, you know. But it's like I pick up on languages very quickly. And I have to like always be doing something with my mind, you know, just, you know, puzzles, you know, everything, you know. It's just like I play a lot of games on my phone because, you know, it just keeps my mind active. And I really don't want to be like end up like my mother either, you know, with dementia. And she lives like an hour away from me. And I was able to see her last month, actually, and she was crying when she saw my brother and I, you know, my brother Michael. He's my baby brother. And he, and they live in Boston, you know, he lives in Boston with his girlfriend. And she was crying when she saw both of us walk in. You know, she couldn't believe that we were actually coming to celebrate her birthday.
Yeah.
So it was very sweet, you know.
Wow.
But I have like no way to get down there, you know, except for my friend Christine. But you know, I've been doing a lot of Zoom meetings with my mother too. So, you know, it helps, but yeah. So, so what else did you want to ask me about?
More about the give us more details on the what's that you being, you know, how the aliens go up? You said aliens would take you places, or
what was that?
You would go up and go on trips, right?
Yeah.
Trips. Yeah. Inducted, deducted, or what? I can't think of the word. But yeah, telepath, like you go through time, right?
Yeah, because I couldn't remember. None of us could remember. Me or my brother Michael couldn't remember like how we ended up like 20 miles away from Danbury.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like in an instant. Yeah. But it was like my car was like slowing down. And then, you know, as I told you before about about my best friend being killed. I saw him like a month before he was killed. And I was like walking from one building to the next. And I was like, instead of going outside, I ended up in the next building, you know, and I'm like, huh? How did this happen? You know?
Like it was a dream or something.
Yeah.
But it's real.
Like a dream. Yeah, like it wasn't real. But it was real. It was real, you know? And it freaked me out, you know?
Yeah.
And I remember like another time, like I became friends with this one girl that lives that I met up in Sharon, which is not very far, you know, from here. And it was called Silver Lake Conference Center. And we, you know, we became very good friends. And she lived in a house that was like right by the railroad tracks. And it was called North Grosvenordale, Connecticut. And she had the brother, she was twins, and with this other girl named Linda and Diane. And they her brother had, you know, was crazy over me. And so I decided I was going to put my thumb through his foot, you know, by concentrating. And that really freaked me out. And I had to like pull it out because it actually worked. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, I don't believe this, you know? Yeah. So I never did that again. And also I was like involved with this guy because he was, I had a boyfriend who was my first love. And we went to a Kirlian photography class. Do you know what that is?
No, yeah, please explain.
What?
Please go ahead and explain it. What that is.
Well, Kirlian photography is where they take pictures of your palm, you know, and they usually, you know, comes out like certain colors, the aura of your palm, you know.
Yeah.
So it's so weird because the guy took my picture. It was my turn, and he goes, and he looked at it. He says, I think I have to get another picture. And I said, what? Why? And he says, well, because I never seen an aura color like this before. And I said, okay, well, go take your other picture, right? So he took my picture. I put my hand on, it's a plate, you know, like a photograph plate or like an X-ray thing.
Yeah.
And it's you do it in a dark room, you know. Yeah. And so he says, oh my God, this is amazing. I said, why? He says, your aura is the color of purple. And he says, I've never seen that before. And it's like, and actually, purple is my favorite color. I even have my own Facebook page about it, you know, like all things purple. And and I like always like wear a lot of clothes that like are purple, and, you know, purple shoes, and, you know, I switch it around and stuff. But he said, you know, that color is like the color of royalty. And I was like, oh my God. You know, I mean, I never really thought about that, you know. And so
So question about the aliens.
Yes.
Can you what did they look like?
Well, just a couple of nights ago, I woke up and there was a Nordic alien standing in my room, and he was laughing. And his laughter kind of woke me up, and I was like, I looked, and it was like he was right by my he was right by my coat rack. Mm-hmm. And he was laughing about something. I don't know what the joke was. And I looked at him, and he just disappeared. Mm. And then later on, a couple hours later, I woke up again, and there was one there. I saw a shadow person like standing by my bookcase. Mm-hmm. And I always like, even when I have my Christmas lights on at night, because I figure, oh, it's going to stop from, seeing these things. It doesn't stop it, I mean, because I've seen one time I saw like an alien, and it was like not very long ago, and it had, it was like practically like leaning over me. Mm. And that kind of scared me. And I just like closed my eyes and I went back to sleep. It was just very scary, very scary. But I've since my abduction, yeah, and that's, I guess you probably want to hear about my abduction, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, right now I live on the second floor of this retirement home in Kent. Mm-hmm. And I had seen, if you remember me telling you about the trees swaying, and then at like 5 o'clock in the morning, seeing it looked like snow on the ground. Yeah, like in the middle of August or something. Well, this thing happened again to me, but it was here. And I was living downstairs at the time. And so I woke up, and I thought I was having a dream. Yeah. And it was, I heard I kind of think about this a little bit. And it had been 9/11, right? Yeah. And so I had missed the flyover, that they did. And so then I was like thinking, oh, well, I heard this like military jet. Yeah. And I thought, oh, wow, I'll go see if I can like see it, know? Yeah. But it wasn't, I don't know if it was a military jet at that time, because it could have been. And this was 2 days after 9/11 at 12:15 at night. Yeah. And the weirdest thing is I thought I was dreaming. And I thought that, it was like light outside, and I could see the buildings from the Kent school. Mm-hmm. And they were, normally you can't see it during the day. You have to go across the river, the Housatonic River, and then you'll see buildings there. So I'm looking at this thing, and it's a regular looking UFO. And I'm going, oh, cool, it's a UFO, Yeah. So it starts flying towards my window, and I'm at my window, and I'm still thinking that I'm dreaming, Yeah. and so I know. And so, and then it went like straight up, like when it came to my window, it went straight up like this, right? And from the bottom, I could see the lights, you know, of the UFO, and it was like a regular shaped UFO, you know, flying saucer. And then it moved over to where I feed the birds, you know.
Yeah.
And actually, I've learned a lot about feeding these birds and stuff. And at the time, you know, I was like feeding them bread and everything, and it was just not. I mean, it wasn't that great. But now I like spoil them. Like I spoil them rotten. I give them pancakes, oatmeal, peanuts, mealworms, you know, whole bunch of stuff. I spoil them like crazy. So, anyways, I was at the time, and this was September 13th, 2019.
Yeah.
Okay. And I had been at the residence here for a year, a whole year. I had come on September 5th, 2018.
Yeah.
But I was still experiencing, before that, I was still experiencing the panels over the doors, you know, like extending open, and, you know, and then it would come back.
Yeah.
So anyways, the UFO changed shape into like a cube.
Yeah.
And it was hovering about 4 feet off the ground. The cube had like a big window in the center of it. And so I'm still looking at this thing, and there was like a light or something coming from it, and my hands were no, I felt somebody had their hands on my face, and it was like going like shaking a lot, you know, like somebody both, you know, like I don't know how to explain it, but it was like, you know. And I said, oh no, I said, this is not a dream, you know.
It's great. With the great, like, very scary. What? Was it painful?
When I realized it wasn't a dream, I was like, oh, you know, and I was like, oh no, this is not a dream. So, I mean, that's just to say mildly what I said out loud.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I wouldn't say what I said, you know, but it scared the hell out of me, you know, and it zapped me. And the next thing I know, I was on my bed, waking up, and it was 1:30 in the morning. And I said, what the heck just happened? And then I realized, you know, what happened, you know, that it wasn't a dream that I had. It was real. You know?
Wow.
Yeah.
It's scary. Wow.
Yeah, I have a journal that I've been keeping of like all the experiences since then. And you know, my pastor doesn't want me to talk about it. You know, he thinks, you know, I go to a Baptist church, and he's from Brazil. He and his family are from Brazil, and they don't. He says, you know, like he doesn't really believe in aliens or anything, but then yet he'll talk about aliens, you know, and it's just very weird, you know. Like, you know, and he'll like preach at me, like, stop talking about aliens.
I think it's just because he don't believe it's real because he haven't experienced it.
Yeah.
Wow. So like what is portrayed in the movies. Talk about the aliens and the angels. Are they totally different from what you actually see?
Yes, yes. Uh-huh. Yeah,
Or
they
what they
are.
talk about just purely fiction?
And yeah, no, but all I know is one night I woke up and I looked out I was looking out my window from my bed, and when I was downstairs, I'm upstairs now, and I have like a nautical theme in my room. I decided to have a nautical theme in my room because I grew up on the water and stuff. And anyways, I wake up one night and in the middle of the night, everything happens in the middle of the night. You know, like 2:00 in the morning, 1:30. You know, it's just like it's crazy. You know, like all kinds of hours.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, what was I saying about about the aliens, right? Yeah. Well, one night I woke up in the middle of the night and I looked out my window from my bed and I see 3 different aliens looking in at me. Looking in at me. I saw the first one was a gray. The second one was, I think it was like a praying mantis. And the third one was like an insectoid or something. And the insectoid was like 10 feet high. And he was like, they were all 3 of them were looking in my window. And I said, oh, great. You know, I just like shut my eyes and went back to sleep. Like I was saying to them, go away. You know, I don't need this, you know. Yeah. So,
Well, is there anything that I haven't asked that you want to tell us? Or did you explain everything?
Well, like I've had this one thing was like very concerning to me. And every time they have it like in the Geico commercials and stuff. And there was was FanDuel was putting on this commercial, and it was just only showed it was like something in space, and it was like it sounded like chanting or something. And then, you know, like it always came on at a certain time at night on TV.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I get very upset when I hear that chanting, because I think it's more like an alien thing, you know. Yeah. And so like the Geico commercial, and you know, when the gecko is talking and stuff, and he's like gone, he's like, oh, eye contact, you know.
Yeah.
He says eye contact, and then he says it has like this chilling music, and it like brings me back to that thing, you know, like it's just creepy, you know.
Yeah.
I don't like that chanting, you know. I don't like it.
Wow, that's terrible. I'm sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And also they've been like a while back, they kept talking in my ear in the middle of the night, and I said, one night I got fed up, and I said, because I couldn't understand what they were saying. Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
And I said, I got fed up with them, and I said, what is it that you want me to do? Yeah. I mean, like, why is it that you keep disturbing me? And they told me it's because of your genius IQ. We
Yeah.
need your help.
Mm.
So I said, yeah, but I would really like to be able to get some sleep. I said, I will help you, but you got to let me get some sleep at
Yeah.
night. So I said, okay. So that night, I was taken up to one of these mountains nearby,
Yeah.
and I was uh, helping with with these scientists. I was like helping them with the work that they were doing.
Yeah.
And then I was taken underwater in the ocean, and I was able to like breathe, and like with no apparatus or anything. And there were scientists down in the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
And I mean, I just like have so much stuff that I could share with you. I mean, I have like a whole journal full of stuff that have been written down. One night in the middle of the night, I could feel this at 2 o'clock in the morning. I woke up one night, and I felt this electricity in my room, and my TV was going off and on. It was like, like it was just going off and on. Yeah. And I had shut it off. And so I knew that there was something, it was the electricity in the air was like way too much. And I knew something was going to happen. And there was like a big explosion in my room. Nothing that anybody could hear, mind you, and
did you see it? Did you see the explosion?
Yeah, I saw it, and it knocked me out. And 4 hours later, I woke up, and at 4.5 hours later, I woke up at 6:30 in the morning, and I had no idea what had happened. I had all this missing time. I have no idea what happened. I still don't,
Yeah.
And it really bothers me. And, a lot of, like when I was living downstairs, I had to get, I love football. I absolutely love football. Yeah. And so I decided to get a better TV for my room, so that I could watch the Super Bowl. And I thought there was something wrong with my other TV. There wasn't anything wrong with it. Yeah. And it still does it with my TV. It looks like the screen looks like it's melting. And it's like, I know it's the aliens that are trying to get into, into me, and so I, and I thought it was just my old TV. It wasn't my old TV because it still does it with my new TV. And I've had that for a little over a year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but I have like a whole journal full of stuff, I even saw last year, James, this other guy, had come to live here like the day after this girl Kim died. And so I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I thought I saw James walking through the back, the back driveway.
Yeah.
And it was not James. Because he was like really tall. It was Bigfoot. I saw Bigfoot. Yes, Bigfoot.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're over by the Appalachian Trail. We're not even 2 miles from the Appalachian Trail. And also the Housatonic River. And there's been I've seen a lot of those cigar-shaped UFOs, and they seem to head up and down the Housatonic River.
Yeah.
And they move very fast. They have no sound. And then about 10 minutes away from here, one time I saw before I was abducted, I saw one of those triangular shaped ones too.
Yeah.
It had like different colors, and it was just hovering just over the treetop.
Yeah.
And it was making no sound at all. It crossed the Housatonic River, and it disappeared. It just disappeared.
That's weird. You know what? All the stuff that happened, is it weird for you, or is it just a random thing?
Well, I mean, they're so common now, like where I live, that it's just, I don't give it much thought, Yeah.
But if you have any other stories, we're still here. Take as much time as you want.
Yeah.
So, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Then I have if I read you some of that stuff in the journal, you wouldn't even believe some of it,
Yeah.
I just had to have a way that I could write this all down,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, this has been a very interesting conversation with you.
Thank you.
Thank you for just bringing this to us. Wow. And you know what? Whenever you want to come back again, please come back.
Okay.
Yes, this was awesome. Thank you for sharing your experiences with us.
Yeah. Okay. Right. You're welcome. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for viewing this. Like you see, what other people see out there is not what it seems. There have been many experiences. I have experienced things. I have I can go later on to some of the episodes. I have experienced demonic possessions, all type of stuff, and there's way more. I mean, you experience angels and aliens. There's so much stuff out there that we don't even know, and you just help us see, just some aspect of what's out there that's unknown. And thank you for that.
Yeah, I could just go on and on for hours talking about some of the stuff, but I don't want to get people, but space has always been, like when I was a kid, space always interested me, and as I said before, with the way that I interact with my birds, the corvids, I really believe that I'm a starseed from the constellation Corvus, because we have such a connection. And this only happened after my abduction.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you for watching our special preview of Paranormal Witnesses. We will be coming soon to Best TV with new episodes.